Well, for more, we're joined by our reporter, Manqoba Mchunu, who's at the scene. Manqoba, last we spoke, 5 injuries. They weren't sure if anybody was under the rubble. Any developments?
Well, at this stage, there's been very little information coming to us at this stage. There's been no official word coming from officials, but the Premier, David Makhura, is here, as well as the Health MEC, Dr. Gwendra Makgopa, as well as also the National Health Minister, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi. We're expecting an update from them anytime soon from now. But what we are seeing now at the scene is that the paramedics are still busy here on the scene, trying to really suss out if there are people that are trapped. We've seen them moving in with some ladders inside that place where the roof had collapsed, as well as some of them walking in with some of the material. We saw the jaws of life being taken inside there, but at this stage we don't know really what is happening. But all we do know is that indeed there are fears that some people are trapped underneath the rubble, and that in fact those that are trapped, we don't know at the stage whether they are injured or what's the current status. But what is happening now again is that that team of specialized paramedics is there trying to stabilize the area. They're trying to ensure that they remove the rubble to see indeed if there are people that are trapped there. But there are relatives here who are standing here waiting for any news as well, hoping to hear any news. They've been saying that they've been trying to make contact with their relatives, but they've been unable to do that so far, saying that they spoke to their relatives before the collapse happened. But as I'm speaking to you now, we're seeing some action there happening, paramedics coming in and out, but any information right now is still premature. We don't know what is happening, but we're hoping that as time goes by, we will get an update from officials to say really whether there are people that are trapped underneath that rubble, and if indeed there are survivors there.
Manqoba, sure, we have to wait for more information. Can you give us a sense, more of what you can see if you go and peer in those windows? How many emergency workers are on site? Does there seem to be pandemonium, or does this seem like a well-controlled operation underway at the moment?
Well, certainly we're not allowed to go anywhere closer to the hospital. In fact, they have put barricades that have kept us really at a distance of about a few meters away from the scene where it's happening. So at this stage it's really hard to tell what is happening, but what we do know is that indeed there's a team of about 20 specialist paramedics that are working there to try and stabilize the area, as well as a team of those who are trying to dig through the rubble. So at this stage, how it's going on and what's happening inside, we are still in the dark about that, but we're expecting to get an update as soon as there is one. But hopefully, indeed, also what they are saying to us is that it might take some time before they give us any update. We've seen also that they brought in the canine unit to try and suss out if there are people trapped there. So at this stage, what we do know is that they're still digging the rubble to see if there are any survivors, to see if there are any people that are trapped there. But for now, it's still really no information coming to us as to what is happening there.
Finally, can you give us a sense, and briefly, Manqoba, just of where you actually standing, a bit of a sense of the layout of the hospital and who would have entered through these doors?
What we do know is that this roof collapse happened at a place, a reception place at the hospital, and that's a place that's on the 5th floor of the hospital, and it's a ward it's a place that's near also a maternity ward, and so it's believed that it might have affected the maternity ward, but at this time we don't know whether the maternity ward was indeed affected. But what we are hearing from relatives that are here is that they do have relatives who are at the maternity ward that they've been trying to make contact with, and at this stage they haven't been able to reach them. So they are very worried as well as to whether their relatives were also affected. We spoke to a lady earlier on who said that her sister had come here to give birth at the hospital, and she last spoke to her just before the collapse happened. So since then she has not been able to make any contact with her, and she's really worried as to whether they were also injured. So at this stage we know that this was a reception area that welcomed the patients into the hospital. Some of them that were there were taken out and they were evacuated when the roof collapse happened. happened. But we also know that there were some injuries, 5 of them, 2 of them being the contract workers that were working on that roof leak, and then 2 of them being the patients that were also inside that ward, that particular reception area when it collapsed. And we know that one of them was a worker from the hospital. So at this moment, we're still just waiting to hear the details really if there are other survivors that are possibly trapped underneath the rubble.
Thank you very much for that update. Manqoba Mchunu, who's live at the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital, and we'll bring you more throughout the evening as those details become available. We'll take a short break.